I scroll, not because I want to, but because I don't know what else to do with the silence. Each flick of my thumb feels mechanical now, like I'm winding a clock I no longer believe will chime. Notifications blink like artificial stars, but none of them warm me. They tell me I'm seen, but am I really? Somewhere along the way, the me I show became louder than the me I know. It's strange how a single number on a screen can feel heavier than the body I carry through the day. How likes can feel like oxygen, and silence can feel like drowning. We are the first generation raised on applause before we even learn to speak. Babies with cameras in their faces, children learning to smile for strangers we couldn't see, teenagers performing happiness to people we didn't know, and now, adults still chasing the echo of an invisible crowd. We live in a world where connection has never been easier. And yet, somehow, touch feels rarer than ever. There's this unspoken rule: don't disappear, don't fall behind, don't post too little or too much, don't be too real, but don't be too fake either. We edit our laughter, we filter our pain, we crop out the mess, we write captions like spells, hoping they'll summon attention, and when they don't, we shrink a little. I think about that a lot, how validation isn't just a want anymore, it's a currency. It's the water we swim in, and we've forgotten what it feels like to breathe without it. Because here's the paradox: we've never been more connected, but most of us have never felt more alone. We sit in rooms full of light hour screens, glowing, but our hearts feel dim. We share memes to say, I feel this too, because saying I'm lonely feels too raw to type. We ghost people we love because answering feels heavy. We fear phone calls like they read doors to a world we've forgotten how to enter. We tell everyone we're fine, while secretly wondering if anyone would notice if we stopped posting. And maybe that's the question none of us want to ask. Who am I when no one is watching? Who am I without the followers, without the comments, without the invisible audience that claps even when I feel hollow inside? Sometimes I imagine deleting everything, just vanishing. Not as an act of drama, but as an experiment. Would I feel lighter, or would I simply feel erased? Because that's the trap, isn't it? We've tied our worth to visibility. We measure our days in metrics instead of moments. We know our analytics better than our neighbors' names. We say, I'm building my brand, when really we're just trying not to feel invisible. And in that chase for digital echoes, we've lost something ancient, something our grandparents never had to question. The quiet kind of love, the kind that doesn't need proof. The kind that doesn't need to be seen to be real. Maybe you feel it too, that ache when the screen goes black. That hollow pause between scrolling and sleeping. That whisper, is this all I am? We don't talk about it much, but the truth is, our generation is fluent in captions, but almost mute in confession. We can write paragraphs online, but can barely look someone in the eye and say, I need you. We've learned to curate ourselves like galleries, but forgotten how to let someone in the messy back room, the place where our real feelings live. And maybe that's why it hurts so quietly, and not in an explosive way, but like a soft, constant leak. Like air leaving a balloon you didn't realize you were holding. We laugh we post, we perform. But at night, when the likes stop coming down, the screen finally cools. We are left with ourselves. Who am I without my followers? Maybe that's the question that scares us the most. Not because we don't know the answer, but because we suspect the answer might be nothing. But I don't believe that. Not fully. Not yet. There's a truth hiding under all this noise. A softer, older truth. And maybe, if we strip everything away, the filters, the feeds, the frantic need to be seen, we might finally hear it. We've painted our loneliness in pixels. But now, let's meet the people behind the screen. We've painted our loneliness in pixels. But now, let's meet the people behind the screen. Maybe you felt something in those words. Maybe because they weren't just mine, they were yours too. This isn't just a theory. It's a pulse, a quiet heartbeat behind every profile picture. So let's peel away the usernames and numbers. Let's step into real rooms, 3 rooms, 3 lives, each carrying the same weight, but wearing it differently. Story 1. The performer hiss, Namat, least here will be Eli. 23. Bright eyes that don't quite reach the smile he's perfected for the camera. He wakes up before the sun, because that's when the lighting is softest. He positions his tripod like a silent partner and begins to perform. 30 takes for a 15-second video. A joke here, a transition there. A caption that feels witty, but safe enough not to invite hate. When the clip finally uploads, he doesn't feel relief. He feels the countdown. How many views in the first 5 minutes? 10. 15. If the numbers climb, he feels a temporary rush like standing in warm rain. If they don't, the day feels heavy before it even begins. He tells himself he loves creating. But what he's really creating is a version of himself that's always on. The real Elitha, one who feels tired, anxious, Macy, doesn't make the cut. Later that night, he lies in bed, screen close to his face. Hundreds of comments scrolled by. Compliments, laughs, fire emojis. And yet not one of them feels like touch. Not one of them knows the way his hands shake one. The video doesn't perform. He wonders, if I stopped posting tomorrow, would anyone even remember I existed? Some of us are exhausted, not from being invisible, but from being seen for the wrong reasons. We've learned to perform connection, but I have forgotten how to feel it. Story 2. The Ghostathan. There's Malik, 19. First year in college. But his real classroom is the glowing rectangle he holds from morning till midnight. He doesn't post much. He watches, scrolls, lurks in the background of other people's lives. He sends haha reactions instead of full sentences. He avoids video calls. Even when his phone rings with his best friend's name, he waits for it to stop. It's not that he doesn't care. He just doesn't know how to keep up anymore. The group chats feel loud. The memes feel empty. The thought of meeting up feels like climbing a mountain barefoot. A month passes, then another. One day, he opens the app and sees he's been removed from the group. He stares at the blank chat box, and for the first time in weeks, he whispers out loud, "I think I might be disappearing," but no one hears it. Sometimes loneliness isn't loud. It's not crying in bathrooms or screaming into pillows. It's the slow fading of your name in other people's mouths. It's realizing you've become a ghost in rooms you used to belong to. Story 3. The fragmented own I end. Then there's Jonah, 26. On paper, he's fine. Good job, good apartment, plenty of matches on dating apps. He's the type people say has figured it out. But Jonah knows the truth. He's been living 3 lives. There's the Jonah at work, confident, agreeable, quick with a joke. There's the Jonah online, polished, adventurous, always smiling in curated photos. And then there's the Jonah at 2 a.m., staring at the ceiling, feeling like none of those versions are real. He swipes through conversations that never leave the surface. People like him more rather. They like the character he plays. One night, after a date that ended with polite laughter and no spark, he sits in his car and whispers, "I don't even know who I am without them. Not without her, not without love, but without them, the crowd, the imagined audience, the invisible eyes that keep him performing a life he isn't sure he wants." We scroll like swimmers in shallow water, searching for depth in every wave. But all we find, reflections of ourselves. 3 different lives, 3 different masks, but the same echo. Am I enough if no one is watching? Maybe you see yourself in Eli's constant need to perform. Maybe in Malik's quiet retreat. Maybe in Jonah's fragmented reflection. Or maybe you see pieces of all 3 woven into the person you've become. And maybe you've started to wonder, what now? What do we do with this ache? Ready to hear what can actually help when nothing else seems to. Maybe the first step isn't deleting our accounts, or running into the woods, or pretending we don't care about connection at all. Maybe the first step is whispering something we've forgotten how to say. I am still here, even when no one sees me. Thinkers like Jung once said, we all carry a shadow, the parts of ourselves we daren't show the world. In our time, that shadow is often the unposted version of us. The one who doesn't look filtered, who doesn't say the right thing, who doesn't know how to be impressive. But here's the truth. That shadow is not your weakness. It's your wholeness. Camus wrote about finding meaning, even in the absurd, that life as chaos doesn't erase its value. Maybe our generation as absurdities, this constant need to be seen by people we daren't even know. What if we paused? What if we remembered that we were a live-along before anyone could like our existence? Start small, not with a grand digital detox, just with a single, honest moment. Instead of opening your phone the second you wake up, ask yourself, what do I need right now? Not what do they need from me? Write it down, 1 sentence, even if it feels awkward, especially if it feels awkward. Then try this. 1 hour a day without an audience. Turn the screen off. Step outside, not to take a photo, but to notice what doesn't need proof to exist. The way the wind moves your hair, the way sunlight touches the wall. These aren't solutions you'll see trending, because they don't look exciting, they don't sell. They're quiet, and that's the point. Somewhere along the way, we've confused attention with love, followers with friends, views with value. But love isn't a number. It's the person who texts you when you vanish. The friend who hears your silence louder than your posts. The self that stays with you and no one else does. And friends real ones are rarely built from viral moments. They're built from small ones. Inside jokes, late night talks, shared boredom, the safety to be unremarkable together. Maybe that's where healing begins, not by being found online, but by allowing ourselves to be small, to be unseen, and to still be enough. I don't have a perfect answer, but maybe there isn't one. Maybe the question, who am I without my followers, isn't meant to be solved in a single video. Maybe it's meant to live with us, to sit with us as we log off for a moment, take a breath, and remember, we were never just our profiles. We were never just the curated version. We are messier, softer, quieter, and far, far more alive than any feed could ever show. Maybe healing doesn't start with being found, but realizing we were never truly lost.